fucking transgender woman boxer box the female boxer. I'm like, what
I didn't see that.
fuck are you people doing?
What?
The Olympics is a giant scam. You have enormous amounts of money being made, and none of it's going to the athletes.
Welcome back to Combat Corner. In today's video, we're diving into the explosive response from Joe Rogan following Algerian boxer Imane Khelif's gold medal victory at the Paris Olympics. I don't necessarily know if it's a hair, Rogan recently remarked, igniting a fresh wave of controversy that has once again put Khelif in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Joe Rogan's comments have thrown gasoline on a fire that has been smoldering since Khelif's Olympic debut. The Algerian boxer has been the subject of intense scrutiny and debate ever since questions arose about her gender and eligibility to compete in the women's boxing division. Despite the International Olympic Committee, IOC, asserting that Khelif has passed all the required gender eligibility tests, skepticism and speculation remain rampant, particularly among high-profile figures like Rogan, who are not convinced by the official narrative. On his podcast, Rogan did not mince words. He expressed deep skepticism about Khelif's gender, even going as far as to question the legitimacy of the IOC's testing process. "I don't necessarily know if that's a her," Rogan said bluntly, challenging the official stance and hinting at a broader conspiracy.
I do feel empathetic towards her, you know. It's a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily know if that's a her. This is the problem. What they're saying, it's a male with a sexually some developmental disease that they or developmental issue, some genetic anomaly, something that happens to them. But they have testes, and they go through male puberty, and they don't have the ability to get pregnant.
He read out the IOC's statement regarding the legitimacy of the gender test conducted by the International Boxing Association, IBA, but remained unconvinced, arguing that the lack of transparency and conclusive evidence left too many unanswered questions. Rogan's remarks tapped into a broader discomfort some feel about the complexities surrounding gender in sports, a discomfort that often leads to oversimplification. This controversy is far from straightforward, and that's what makes it such a hot-button issue. Rogan's blunt original assessment: the boxer's Imane Khelif chromosome came back as XY, so that's a male. That's a man. I know it sounds horrible to misgender someone and all that stuff. All that's great until you want to fight women or even compete against women. Cut the shit. Reflects a view held by many.
Because there's outrage all over the place about this one particular person that they're talking there that did test for an XY chromosome. That's a man. I know it sounds horrible to misgender someone and all that good stuff. All that's great until you want to fight women or even compete against women. It's just cut the shit.
But it's important to recognize that the situation isn't as black and white as it might appear. While Khelif supporters argue that she has followed all the required protocols, critics like Rogan suggest that the very protocols themselves may be flawed, leaving room for significant debate. Rogan's comments quickly went viral, resonating with a segment of his audience that shares his skepticism about the integrity of the Olympic Games and the fairness of gender-based competition. However, his remarks also sparked significant backlash, with many accusing him of perpetuating harmful stereotypes and contributing to the stigmatization of athletes like Khelif. The controversy has only deepened the divide in public opinion, with some applauding Rogan for speaking his mind, while others condemn him for what they see as an irresponsible and uninformed attack. Interestingly, Joe Rogan is not alone in his doubts about Imane Khelif's gender. Even popular author J.K. Rowling has voiced similar concerns, questioning whether Khelif is truly a woman. Rowling, who has been an outspoken critic of transgender rights in sports, echoed Rogan's skepticism, suggesting that the Algerian boxer might be male. Her comments, like Rogan's, have added fuel to the fire and drawn further attention to the controversy surrounding Khelif's participation in the Olympics. However, it's important to note that not everyone who initially criticized Khelif has maintained their stance. Some individuals like Logan Paul and UFC title contender Israel Adesanya, who initially slammed the boxer over the gender role controversy, have since apologized, acknowledging that they may have rushed to judgment without fully understanding the facts. Meanwhile, Khelif herself has remained focused on her goals, pushing through the noise to claim her first gold medal at the Olympic Games. She defeated China's Yang Lu by a unanimous decision, a victory that should have been celebrated, but has instead been overshadowed by the ongoing controversy. Rogan did not hold back when discussing this issue. The problem is when you're trying to get me to deny science and you start saying shit like, I'm a biological woman, I should be able to compete with women in women's sports. He said before going even further, calling the entire Olympic Games a giant scam and questioning not just Khelif's participation, but the legitimacy of the event itself. He criticized them for what he sees as its hypocrisy and inconsistency, particularly in how it handles issues of gender and athlete eligibility. Rogan's harsh words were aimed at the organizers and the broader Olympic system, which he believes is deeply flawed and in need of reform. The fallout from Rogan's comments has been swift and intense.
But it seems like they went through male puberty, which should exclude you from competing as a woman. They look male, they have male frame, they have XY chromosome. Like, you're being told that you're a bigot for looking at very obvious, what we have always considered biological representations, right? So, like, what is it in biology when something is a male human being? Do they have an XX chromosome or do they have an XY? They say, well, they have an XY. Well, we know that, but saying that makes you a bigot, which is insanity.
Social media has been flooded with reactions, with many users taking sides in the debate. Some have supported Rogan's right to express his views, arguing that the questions he raises are valid and deserve to be addressed. Others, however, have condemned him for what they see as a reckless and uninformed attack on an athlete who has done nothing wrong. The polarization of opinion highlights the deep divisions that exist on this issue, both within the world of sports and in society at large. One of the most controversial aspects of Rogan's comments was his discussion of testosterone levels and their impact on athletic performance. Rogan played a clip from a commentator who argued that there is no relationship between natural testosterone and performance, only to immediately dismiss the argument. "Shut the F up, you're lying," Rogan said bluntly, before launching into a tirade about the advantages of being biologically male in sports. His argument, however, was criticized by many as simplistic and ignoring the complexities of hormone levels, gender identity, and athletic performance. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, has also weighed in on the controversy, reaffirming that Imane Khelif is biologically female and that she met all the eligibility criteria for competing in the women's boxing division. However, it's crucial to understand that this is not a simple matter of passing a test or meeting a set of criteria. The science behind gender testing is complex and evolving, and the standards used by organizations like the IOC are often subject to criticism and revision. This leaves room for doubt and debate, which Rogan and others have seized upon to question the fairness and legitimacy of Khelif's participation. Despite the backlash, Rogan has shown no signs of backing down from his position. He continues to use his platform to voice his concerns about the fairness of competition in women's sports, arguing that the inclusion of athletes like Khelif poses a threat to the integrity of the sport. For Rogan, this issue is about more than just one athlete. It's about what he sees as a fundamental battle over the future of sports and the principles of fair competition. The controversy surrounding Imane Khelif's Olympic victory and Joe Rogan's comments has opened up a broader conversation about gender, fairness, and the future of sports. The debate is far from over, and it's clear that this issue will continue to be a flashpoint for discussions about how we define and enforce the rules of competition. As more athletes, commentators, and fans weigh in, the dialogue will likely become even more complex and nuanced, reflecting the evolving nature of our understanding of gender and identity in the 21st century. Thank you for tuning into Combat Corner. What do you think about Joe Rogan's comments and the ongoing controversy surrounding Imane Khelif's Olympic victory? Do you agree with Rogan's stance, or do you believe the IOC made the right call? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all the latest updates in the world of boxing.